Sometimes, she doesn't test you to make you fail, she tests you to see if you're strong enough to stay. It was a quiet evening, the kind where the sky turns soft and the air feels full of unspoken emotions. I still remember the way she looked at me, not with anger, not with love, but with a question. She asked me something simple, "Do you really care about me?" But her eyes, they were asking much more than her words. At that moment, I realized something. A woman doesn't always test you with complicated games. Sometimes, her tests are hidden in small moments, in her silence, in her distance, in the way she suddenly changes. That day, I had two choices. To react, or to understand. Most people fail here. They let their ego speak. They get defensive. They argue. But love doesn't win with arguments. So instead of raising my voice, I lowered my tone. Instead of questioning her back, I listened. Because sometimes, when she pulls away, she's not leaving you. She's waiting to see if you will come closer. Days passed, and her tests became clearer. She would reply late, not because she was busy, but because she wanted to see if I would lose patience. She would act cold, not because she didn't care, but because she wanted to feel my warmth. And I understood one powerful truth. A woman tests you not to break you, but to find out if you are real. So I stayed calm. I stayed consistent. I didn't try to impress her with big words, I showed her with small actions. When she doubted me, I didn't fight her doubts, I replaced them with trust. When she created distance, I didn't chase desperately, I stood strong, but present. And slowly, something beautiful happened. Her questions turned into trust. Her tests turned into comfort. Her doubts turned into belief. Because in love, winning doesn't mean proving her wrong. Winning means proving her safe. So if she tests you, don't fear it. Don't take it as a challenge to your ego. Take it as an opportunity. To show her that your love is not temporary, not fragile, not fake. Because at the end of the day, when a woman tests you like this, you don't win by defeating her. You win by understanding her. There are moments in love when words disappear, but emotions speak louder than ever. A woman's silence is rarely empty, it carries meanings, feelings, and questions that she may not express directly. When she becomes quiet, distant, or less expressive, it is not always because she has nothing to say. Sometimes, it is because she is waiting to see if you can understand what her heart is unable to explain. In those moments, her silence becomes a test, not of your intelligence, but of your emotional awareness. She may stop texting first, not because she lost interest, but because she wants to see if you will notice her absence. She may reply in short sentences, not because she is cold, but because she is checking if you will try to warm the conversation again. These are not games meant to hurt you, they are quiet questions asking, "Do you still care, even when I don't show it clearly?" Most people misunderstand this silence. They assume something is wrong and react with frustration or insecurity. They start overthinking, questioning her feelings, or even pulling away in return. But the truth is, reacting emotionally often leads to failure in these moments. What she truly seeks is not a reaction, but understanding. Understanding her silence requires patience. It requires you to listen beyond words and observe the small changes in her behavior. The way she avoids eye contact, the delay in her responses, the softness or heaviness in her tone, all of these are clues. They are pieces of a puzzle that reveal what she feels deep inside. When you respond with calmness instead of confusion, with care instead of complaints, you show her something rare. You show her that your love is not dependent on perfect communication, but strong enough to survive even the quietest moments. You don't force her to speak, instead, you create a space where she feels safe enough to open up on her own. In love, silence is not the absence of connection, it is often a deeper form of communication. And when you learn to understand it, you step into a level of connection where words are no longer necessary to prove what you feel. There comes a moment in every love story when emotions rise like a storm, unexpected, intense, and difficult to control. It can be a small misunderstanding, a delayed reply, or a simple change in tone, but suddenly everything feels heavier than it should. In these moments, a woman may express her feelings in ways that seem confusing. She might get upset quickly, question your intentions, or react more emotionally than the situation appears to deserve. But beneath that reaction is not anger alone, it is emotion searching for reassurance. This is where the real test begins. Not in what you say, but in how you hold yourself when everything feels unstable. Most people, when faced with emotional intensity, respond with the same energy. They raise their voice, become defensive, or try to prove themselves right. But love is not about winning arguments, it is about protecting connection. Staying calm in such moments is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It means you choose control over chaos, patience over pride. When she raises her voice, and you lower yours, you shift the entire energy of the situation. When she expects you to react, and instead you respond with understanding, you create a sense of safety that words alone cannot provide. Imagine a moment when she is upset, questioning you, perhaps even doubting your intentions. Instead of interrupting her or correcting her immediately, you let her speak. You listen, not to reply, but to understand. Your calm presence becomes something she can lean on, even when her emotions feel overwhelming. It shows her that no matter how intense things get, you will not lose control or walk away from the connection. Emotional moments are often temporary, but the way you handle them leaves a lasting impression. When you remain steady, you prove that your love is not fragile. You show that you are not easily shaken by pressure or conflict. This builds a deeper level of trust, because she begins to feel that she can express herself freely without fear of losing you. Over time, your calmness becomes her comfort. Your patience becomes her peace. And in a world where emotions can often feel unpredictable, being the one who stays grounded creates a bond that feels safe, strong, and real. In the delicate rhythm of love, there are moments when your ego quietly steps forward, asking to be defended, to be proven right, to be heard above everything else. It often happens during disagreements, misunderstandings, or when a woman questions your actions or intentions. In such moments, the instinct to protect your pride feels natural. You may feel the urge to explain yourself forcefully, to correct her immediately, or to show that you are not wrong. But love does not grow in the presence of ego, it grows in the presence of respect. When a woman tests you in this way, she is not simply looking at your words, she is observing your attitude. She wants to see whether you value being right more than you value the connection you share with her. Ego reacts quickly, often without thinking. It interrupts, it argues, it defends. Respect, on the other hand, listens first. It gives space. It chooses understanding over control. Imagine she says something that feels unfair or questions your intentions. Ego would push you to respond immediately, perhaps with frustration or sarcasm. But respect allows you to pause. In that pause, you choose your words carefully, not to win the moment, but to protect her feelings and the bond between you. You speak calmly, without raising your tone, and you acknowledge her emotions even if you do not fully agree with her perspective. Respect does not mean you stay silent or accept everything blindly. It means you express yourself without hurting her dignity. It means you correct misunderstandings without making her feel small. When you respond this way, you show emotional maturity, something far more powerful than simply proving a point. There is a quiet strength in choosing respect over ego. It shows that your love is not driven by pride, but guided by care. It tells her that she is safe expressing her thoughts, even when they are imperfect or emotional. Over time, this builds a deeper connection, where both of you feel valued and heard. In love, the real victory is not in being right, but in being kind when it is hardest, in choosing words that heal instead of words that hurt, in protecting the relationship even when your ego asks you to protect yourself. In the beginning of love, everything feels effortless. Words flow easily, attention is constant, and every action seems designed to impress. It is the phase where charm shines the brightest, where every message is thoughtful, every meeting feels special, and every promise sounds convincing. But as time passes, charm alone begins to fade, and what remains is something far more important: consistency. A woman may not always say it directly, but she notices the difference between who you were at the start and who you become over time. This is one of the most subtle ways she tests you. She watches if your effort remains the same when things become comfortable. She observes whether your care was real or just a temporary act to win her attention. Charm can attract her, but only consistency can make her stay. There may be days when you feel tired, distracted, or less motivated. Days when sending that message, making that call, or showing that effort feels like a small burden. But for her, those small actions carry deep meaning. They tell her whether she still holds the same value in your life. When your effort becomes irregular, it creates doubt. She begins to question if your feelings have changed, even if they have not. Consistency is not about grand gestures every day. It is about the little things done regularly. A simple check-in message, remembering something important to her, being present when she needs you. These actions may seem small, but they build a strong emotional foundation. They show her that your love is not dependent on mood or convenience, but something steady and reliable. Temporary charm can be powerful, but it often creates an illusion. It sets expectations that cannot be maintained if they are not genuine. Consistency, however, builds trust slowly and naturally. It proves that your actions are not just for a moment, but part of who you truly are. When she sees that your care does not fade with time, that your effort does not depend on circumstances, she begins to feel secure. She no longer questions your intentions or doubts your feelings. Instead, she finds comfort in your presence, knowing that what you show her today will still be there tomorrow. Words have a beautiful power in love. They can create feelings, build attraction, and express emotions that the heart struggles to hold inside. Saying, "I care about you," or, "I love you," can make someone feel special in a moment. But as time moves forward, words alone begin to lose their weight if they are not supported by actions. A woman may listen to what you say, but she believes what you do. There are moments when she will quietly observe you, not asking for promises, not demanding explanations, but simply watching how you behave. She notices whether your actions match your words. If you say you care, do you show it when she needs you the most? If you promise to be there, do you actually stand by her side during difficult times? These are the moments where love is tested without being spoken. It is easy to speak beautifully when everything is going well. Anyone can express affection when the mood is right, when the connection feels strong, and when there are no challenges. But real love reveals itself in effort, in sacrifice, and in presence. It shows when you choose to give your time, even when you are busy. It shows when you listen carefully, even when you are tired. It shows when you support her emotionally, even when you have your own struggles. A woman does not expect perfection, but she values sincerity. She understands that mistakes happen, that life can become complicated, and that not every moment will be perfect. What matters to her is whether your actions consistently reflect your feelings. Small, genuine efforts often mean more than grand, empty promises. When your actions align with your words, it creates something powerful: trust. And trust is the foundation of any deep connection. It allows her to feel secure, to open up, and to believe in what you share without fear of being disappointed. Over time, she begins to rely not on what you say, but on what you do. Your presence becomes her reassurance, your effort becomes her proof, and your consistency becomes her comfort. Love, in its truest form, is not spoken loudly, but shown quietly through actions that remain real and steady over time.